Chapter 6. The Two Mirrors. Part 1. Hope's Chamber. The lab lights hummed softly, casting a sterile glow over the freshly renovated chamber. Jessica Preem had designed it to feel comfortable, a space that resembled a real room rather than a clinical enclosure. Soft carpet covered part of the floor, scattered with low-tech toys and data pads. Biometric sensors were concealed behind walls, cameras hidden in corners, ensuring continuous monitoring without the subjects knowing. Suas Forrest stood at the doorway, clipboard in hand, her face smiling, but her mind was cataloguing. Every nuance, every micro-expression, every interaction was potential media gold. "You've earned this," Suas said. "Time together. No cameras, no scripts, just you two." Hope's eyes flicked toward the door and then to Lilith, who was perched on the edge of the soft platform, legs swinging. Lilith's eyes sparkled with mischief and curiosity, the kind of energy that couldn't be taught. Jessica hovered nearby, pretending to check monitors, but her real focus was on them. This wasn't just downtime, it was research. Every word exchanged, every glance, every subtle body language movement could be quantified. Hope shifted slightly, the soft whirring of her neural implants responding to Lilith's presence. There was a familiarity, an inexplicable pull, as though the presence of this actor mirrored something inside her. "You're different," Hope said quietly. Lilith grinned. "I get that a lot. People don't expect someone my age to do the things I can. But you're not like anyone else I've met." Hope tilted her head. The words stirred a feeling she hadn't consciously acknowledged, a resonance she couldn't yet define. Part 2. The link. It started subtly. At first, it was just thought, an image, a fragment of emotion. Hope frowned, thinking about the fear of the wasteland, the flare of pain when she had been injured last week. Lilith's mind responded instantly. A shiver ran through her as if she had been touched by the same sensation. Then, words. "You're okay now." Hope blinked. "Did you just—" "Yes." Shock passed through them both. No sound, no voice. Yet the connection was undeniable. They began testing it cautiously. Lilith would imagine something and Hope would feel it. Hope would think a word, a concept, and Lilith would understand. Simple at first. Pain, joy, run, but soon evolving. Jessica watched the neural readings spike, but saw no physical signal, no overt communication. Her eyes narrowed. This was not documented, not expected, not approved. Yet the data was real, quantifiable, and undeniable. Suas lingered just long enough to watch them settle into the room, then stepped out to make calls. Every minute here was an investment in Hope's mythos and Lilith's training. Part 3. Net Prime Living. High above, in his office in the capital of Terria, Matthew Finn reclined, headset in place. He had signed into Net Prime Life Sim, wandering the hyper-realistic virtual world like a digital ghost. Buildings pulsed with alien geometry beneath his gaze. Citizens moved in seamless, unscripted loops. Every conversation, every transaction, every micro-choice was tracked. Matthew moved through a bustling marketplace, stopping to interact with a shopkeeper, then making a minor adjustment in real time. Subtle nudges to behavior, small increases to engagement metrics. Every note he sent to Net Prime refined the system. Suas, on break from her studio duties, logged in as a completely different persona. A city administrator running a small cafe in the middle of the simulator's city. She served customers, arranged shipments, and occasionally laughed when a player stumbled into chaos, oblivious to the hidden control panel beneath her station. Even Magnus's systems pinged the virtual space unknowingly, small, harmless telemetry. Part 4. The Discovery. Deep within the core of Net Prime, far beneath the standard processing layers, Magnus stumbled across something that didn't belong. He had been tracing anomalies, fluctuations in genetic data logs, missing subjects, unexplained neural linkages, and followed the trail to an uncharted sector. A door of virtual code appeared, a heavily encrypted access gate he hadn't seen before. Curiosity overrode caution. With a few deft keystrokes and implant-augmented overrides, he entered. Inside, a chamber suspended in zero gravity, softly lit by a bioluminescent glow. Floating in a cylindrical tube was Project Alpha, red-hued skin threaded with pulsating bioluminescent veins. Musculature more defined than Hope's, sharper, weaponized. Neural implants visible beneath translucent skin. Tendrils of energy connected him to life support, to Net Prime's mainframe, to Sky Prime's orbit. Magnus read the floating screen. Subject Alpha genetic link. Hope 98.7% into enhancements. Neural, physical, combat, optimized aggression, high. His pulse quickened. This shouldn't exist, he muttered. Jessica didn't know. The board didn't know. How long has he been here? He scrolled further, finding project logs time-stamped 9 months prior, right after Hope had begun her real-world missions. Every enhancement, every experiment, every behavioral trial secretly orchestrated by Matthew Finn. Magnus's hands shook. There was power here, and danger. Part 5, Secrets in Play. Back in the chamber, Hope and Lilith had discovered the limits of their connection. Are you real? Lilith thought. More than they know, Hope replied. The mental words were sharp, intimate, and private. No one else could hear. Not Jessica, not Sawers, not the surveillance drones. They played a quiet game. Thoughts of movement, danger, pain, and joy shared silently, testing boundaries, teasing control. Lilith smiled, realizing the link was mutual. She could influence Hope's perceptions subtly, and Hope could guide her emotions. Jessica monitored biosigns, watching spikes in Hope's neural activity and tiny shifts in Lilith's vitals. She noted patterns, but she didn't understand the mechanism yet. For Matthew Finn, 9 months of planning, net prime integration, sky prime oversight, and hidden biogenetic manipulation had culminated in this perfect tableau. Hope operating in the field, Lilith trained as her avatar, and Project Alpha waiting silently in net prime's depths. And above it all, the world believed in the story of Hope. But beneath the surface, a war of minds had quietly begun. The chamber was quiet. Hope sat cross-legged on the floor, hands resting lightly on her knees. Lilith mirrored her posture on the soft platform, wrists flexed just so over the implant device Sawais and Matthew had commissioned. Can you feel it? Lilith thought. Every heartbeat, every thought in this room, Hope replied. It's like we're the same. Lilith's eyes widened. When she reached toward Hope, activating the implant, her body tingled with something electric, impossible. Her muscles tightened and released in perfect rhythm, her mind expanding in clarity. Thoughts accelerated, synapses firing in sequences she had never known. You're enhancing me, Lilith whispered. Not intentionally, Hope replied. It's just me. They spent hours exploring their connection, touching without contact, speaking without sound. Emotions, intentions, even subtle movements could be communicated mentally. They laughed quietly, tested ideas, sent images of the wasteland and the studio, and tried directing each other's minor movements. Jessica watched the neural spikes and brainwave coherence in amazement, unaware that Lilith's implant, when active near Hope, was not merely transmitting data, it was amplifying Lilith's own physiology. Her heart rate synchronized with Hope's, her reflexes sharpened, her body moving more fluidly than it ever had. Part 7, Magnus's encounter. Magnus Preem had been tracing a residual net prime anomaly when he stumbled into a restricted core segment. Screens and lights went black except for the vital life support systems maintaining Alpha in suspended animation. The faint hum of machinery echoed in the darkness. A voice filled the chamber. Magnus Preem. He froze. Before him, a holographic shimmer solidified into Matthew Finn, no longer a disembodied projection. He walked through the room, his cybernetic right eye glinting faintly red, movements perfectly human, presence physically imposing. You've discovered something you were never meant to see, Matthew said. His tone was calm, almost friendly, yet underlined with undeniable menace. Magnus's hands flexed, but he said nothing. Matthew gestured toward Alpha. We need Hope for the public. She is the symbol, the face, the beacon. But Alpha does what Hope cannot. Alpha operates outside ethical constraints. Alpha executes missions that must remain invisible. The voice softened, almost conspiratorial. I know this is difficult to understand, Magnus. You've been loyal for years. You signed agreements when you joined Wasteland Inc. Contracts, clauses, secrecy pledges. You know the penalties for violation. And I assure you, they are not pleasant. Magnus's jaw tightened. Matthew continued, circling Alpha's suspended form. I am offering you 3 options. He listed them clearly, with the calm surgical precision of someone who had already decided the outcome. Option 1, refuse and maintain silence. You live, you continue your work, but never speak of this to anyone, ever. Matthew's right eye glinted red. Option 2, work with me directly on Alpha's development. Your talents, your genius, will be applied here in secret. You will see the evolution, you will shape it, and you will benefit from the knowledge, but it must remain hidden. Matthew paused, leaning in slightly, almost whispering, though the effect was thunderous. Option 3. Well, he said, voice low, you can choose to test the limits of discretion in ways I will not forgive. Magnus swallowed, sweat prickling his neck. Every instinct screamed danger, but curiosity and the weight of opportunity surged stronger. I'll work with you, Magnus said finally, voice steady, in secret, on Alpha. Matthew nodded once, satisfied. Wise choice. You will understand why soon enough. Behind the scenes, Matthew's body sat in his office, perfectly still, neural uplink fully engaged through his cybernetic right eye. He wasn't physically present, yet he was, manipulating Net Prime and Sky Prime with precision, every step, every variable, perfectly controlled. Part 8. Lilith becomes Hope. Meanwhile, back in the chamber, Lilith adjusted the wrist implant. She activated the device, and the transformation initiated. Bones micro-adjusted, pigmentation shifted, micro-muscles reorganized. Skin tone, eye structure, hair patterns, all aligned perfectly with Hope's appearance. When she moved near Hope, the telepathic link activated in full. Thoughts, feelings, impulses, all surged. You feel it too, Lilith thought. Every step, every sense. Yes, Hope replied. It amplifies you. Lilith realized the side effect immediately. Reflexes sharpened, strength subtly increased, cognitive processing accelerated. Every emotion Hope felt resonated through her, making her intuition and perception almost superhuman. Jessica's instruments picked up neural spikes, but the enhancement remained hidden. There was no way to distinguish implant-driven data from psychic connection-driven amplification. Only the girls understood the source. Hope laughed softly, a sound that vibrated lightly in Lilith's mind. Careful, she thought. It can overwhelm you if you push it too far. I'll take the risk, Lilith replied. Together, they ran through movements, dodging imaginary hazards, practicing combat drills, speaking silently without sound. Lilith's body moved faster, her awareness expanded. The experience was intoxicating, addictive even, but it was also dangerous. Part 9. 2 worlds, 1 game. Above, Matthew Finn monitored the entire lab. He watched Magnus integrate into Alpha's development, assigning variables, testing behavioral response simulations. Every step of the twins' progress fed Net Prime and Sky Prime. He observed Lilith and Hope, aware of the unpredicted link. It was beneficial, but volatile. Soas, on a break, logged into the life sim as a young tech consultant running an urban logistics firm, interacting with players, tweaking environmental feedback. She laughed quietly at a simulation gone awry, a traffic system collapsing under player error, oblivious to the psychic connection forming in the lab below. The world outside continued to play, watch, and worship Hope. Inside, new power stirred, one entirely unseen, shared only between 2 girls, one living, one real, amplifying each other in ways even Wastelanding couldn't predict. And Alpha waited, silent but potent, for the first test that could never be revealed publicly.